But the most famous dialogue between Confucius and Lao Tse, I remember. Confucius had to go to Lao Tse. And he was angry because he was Prime Minister of China. And he asked Lao Tse, what makes you so special? And Lao Tse said, very few people know me, that makes me special. You are public property. Fantastic answer. Yes.
Lao Tzu was free.
He was free.
And a few days ago, we spoke about the difference between a great commander and a seeker. The difference is that a seeker is free.
Seeker is free so far, yes.
Yes.
But not exactly free. He is limited in whatever he is seeking.
Which is what I was about to get into. It is said.
Here I will quote Russian fairy tale.
Yeah.
Go to a place which is not a place. Find the way which is not the way. That is Tao.
That is the Tao.
And the Ivan, as they say, the Dura, or let's say Ivan the innocent, lost himself
Yes.
and reached the place by the way which was no way.
Yes.
That means when you will lost the identity that you are and you are searching for something, only then the way will take you there, not before. It is fantastic story. Yes.
Baba Yaga, she got this stuff.
Yes, she is the wisest person there.
And that's all.
And two idiots. Every wise person will look like Baba Yoga.
I was about to get into that, Guruji, the seeking. Right? It is said that in your spiritual path, in the seeker's spiritual path, the seeking has to stop.
I just told you the
Yes,
story.
that's right. Thing is, when do we know the seeking has stopped, Guruji?
You will know. When there is no more desire to reach out and find something, you will sit down in one place with a very empty and open mind and wait.
Yes.
And here I will say that English language is also good.
Yes.
They have already said, all good things comes to he who wait.
Yes.
So learn to wait. Things will come to you.
And thus this explains neti. Wait.
Neti. Not the end. This is not the end.
So by waiting, it's not the end. Things will
No.
still come.
Yes.
Yes. Guruji, I think that is the highest form of wu wei, non-action. You just wait and things just happen on their own.
It could be that, possibly. But you have to be in that particular conscious state of the mind.
Yes.
Only then.
This is why Guruji Lao Tzu stressed the importance of effortlessness.
Effortlessness is a very deep thing. When you have practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced a certain art, that it becomes effortless.
Yes.
Then it is effortless.
Yes.
Not that you are not trying to do anything.
Yes.
That is the climax of all your practice.
Yes.
That it becomes in auto mode.
Yes.
Like
Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's I think almost 80 now, and he
76, yes.
he was interviewed, and the interviewer asked him, "Why do you still exercise? Why do you still work out?" Then Arnold answered, "It's like asking me why do I eat breakfast? Why do I breathe? It's part of me."
Part of me.
Yes.
I like him. I have been following him since way back 1969. I have his encyclopedia of modern bodybuilding in all his books. And we were seeing him appearing in countless muscle memories.
Yes.
What is so special about Arnold?
He's focused.
And see, everybody keep missing. You remember him? He had the most innocent smile in all bodybuilders.
You're right, bro. You're right.
That's it.
You're right.
So the touch of innocence was there.
Yes.
The best smile I have seen among bodybuilders was Arnold's.
Yes.
Everybody else was just noticing his bicep, but I noticed his smile as well.
Yes. And his humble background, kept him humble and
Yeah,
innocent.
yes.
And Krishna always has
And
a
another thing
yeah.
which comes out when you read his life story. Whoever became his friend was a friend for life.
Yes.
That is extraordinary.
Yes.
He was just not using them and throwing them away.
Yes.
If there was friendship, it remained lifelong.
Yes.
That is a very great thing. Or Changla,
Guruji, Arnold has honor.
agreed?
Because there are people that he did not need to take care of, but he did anyway.
He did anyway.
Yes. And he spoke
You
of-
don't become a legend just by advertising yourself.
Yes.
There has to be many deeper things. And a very innocent smile.
That's what I wanted to, mention just now. Krishna was always smiling.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is the only avatar who was actually enjoying life.
Yes. Even Ram did not enjoy life, Guruji.
He had a mission.
Yeah.
That was different thing.
Guruji, you brought up a very important point. A lot of people have this idea that the spiritual seeking is sad and severe.
And most of them are idiots.
Why did it come to be like that, Guruji?
Because of the tradition of sannyas. They say world is nothing. Only a highly depressed person will think like that. And they keep stressing, one day you will die, one day you will die. And I like to remind them, other days you will remain alive. Only one day you will die.
Yes.
So enjoy the other days also. I keep focusing on one day you will die. All other days we will remain alive.
Yes.
And only by studying and experiencing life, you may start to understand it. If you are alive and continuously focusing on death, you will miss the life absolutely.
Yes.
Of course, death is the climax of life. We need to consider it also,
Yes.
and we need to know about it also. But that doesn't mean you have to always pull a long face and all these sad things. No.
Yeah. And you have said before that the one common destination for everyone is death.
It is.
Yeah.
And another thing I will point out, you think about all the demons from hell, the Satan, augurs, witches, ghosts, all laughing, augurs coming laughing, demons coming laughing, devil is laughing all the time. And look at the saints, they are always weeping and crying and pulling a long face.
Yes.
So what that other side is enjoying? What saints are missing?
Yes.
That is a considerable thing.
Because, I remember I asked before, every one of us has different destinies. Destinies are the road to destination.
Yes.
All of us are going towards death. So that means we have the same destination.
But then the wise man has also said that death is just another beginning. But they don't focus on that.
Neti.
This is not the end. Go on. My God, you are making me sound like a wise man for some days.
Well, we talk about Lao Tzu and Tao Te Ching, Guruji. That's what happens when you bring these two up.
Okay.
That's why I like about the beauty of Lao Tzu's teachings.
He was great, no doubt.
Yes. I think Lao Tzu also understood the importance of enjoying life.
I'm sure of it, yes.
Because every time I talk about Lao Tzu to people, there will always be a positive energy happening.
See, if there is a highly developed mind, you will feel good near such a person.
Yes.
But if you will sit by a depressed person, you will come back highly depressed yourself. If you can't make a child smile, or a lady smile, or a sad person smile, then you have achieved nothing in life.
Yeah.
So,
Because even Shiva had to make Parvati happy.
I think she is the happiest one there.
Yes.
So, up with a smile, down with frown.
That's right. That makes a good, I forgot what it's called, kids melody.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. थोड़ी सी जरा सी एक बन से all the best. Thank you.
And Guruji, again, going back to at one point in the spiritual person's journey, the seeking has to stop, the understanding begins.
Seeking will stop the moment the understanding will start.
Yes. So for the developed yogi who has reached death, that death is part of a new understanding.
No, he has already understood that by going through multiple samadhis and all those things.
Yes.
Man fears the unknown.
Yes. Still, that yogi, upon passing through death, will move on to new beginnings.
Definitely.
So that means his destination has not been reached yet.
No, it is just one horizon you have crossed. Another is waiting.
That means Guruji applying neti, the horizons are never ending. They keep
Yes.
going.
This is what I discussed in Wayfarer. Reach out and touch the horizon, maybe the most romantic idea.
Guruji, I learned Qigong from this great teacher, and I told him one time about this quote: if you're not living on the edge, you're just wasting space.
Okay.
And then he said, oh, I see where you're going. So you reach the border, and then you expand the border. You go further, you reach the border, and you expand it again.
Yes.
But you see, that's never ending. No matter how far you go, you will never go anywhere. But going deep inside you already have it.
Yes.
That means the inside of us, Guruji, is infinity, eternity.
99.9% of your body is emptiness.
Yes.
This is what science started to tell us. So be aware of that emptiness. The outside emptiness you will start to understand.
Yes.
Charity begins at home.
And just understanding the emptiness of the inside will automatically open up our perspective.
Of course, yes.
And that's why the yogi doesn't have to go anywhere. He just has to be
No.
still.
But to another point I will tell you, think big. Thank you. All the best. See, I am not going anywhere.
Yes.
But I am traveling with Earth. Earth is traveling at a very fast speed, rotating at a very fast speed. So even though it looks still to us, but we are moving at a very fast pace.
Yeah.
Earth is taking us somewhere. So I am traveling with Earth.
As a yogi, Guruji, you have unified yourself with the earth energy, with Mother Earth itself. So now you are moving as earth.
Moving with Earth.
Yes.
Yes.
And also at the same time, you're living on a piece of Golok.
Yes.
So you're also moving with Golok.
Of course. This is fantastic situation.
Yes. So you have expanded your possibilities.
It is happening automatically.
Yes. With the power of imagination.
It is increasing every day.
Yes. And Samadhi helps to increase the imagination as well.
When I get up, every day, I am not the same person I was yesterday. Every day, I am noticing it for many years. A different man every day.
Every day you empty the cup. Yes.
Yes, that's right. Fantastic discussion.
Indeed, Guruji.
Yes. And before that, I never ever thought, nobody discussed, that I will be able to elaborate on Tao Te Ching or on Lao Tzu. It's an honor to discuss that personality.
Indeed.
Okay.
Even me, whenever I speak his name or quote the Tao Te Ching, there's a certain pride that comes out.
It should be there.
Yes.
And I still believe he was Vasisht who came back to India.
Yes. There's good possibility, Guruji. The version I heard is that the Indian sage, upon arriving to China, saw a dead Chinese man and he transferred his soul to that Chinese.
That is possible.
Yes. And I think one
That's
of the
how you can move incognito without anyone recognizing.
and also speaking their language.
Yes. And I just told you the authentic story is in Rudrayamal, Vasisht going to China and learning there and coming back.
Yes.
So we can connect these two dots.
Did they say how long Vasisht spent in China?
They just say that he spent the time in which that took him to learn that thing, to how to invoke Adishakti in the form of Kamakhya and Tara.
Yes.
Tara is the ruling deity of the pure wisdom.
Yes.
So he brought wisdom also, Kamakhya as well.
And this is why Shakti has to be honored, Guruji, because wisdom comes from her.
And also from another point of view, Shiva and Shakti are always together.
Yes.
They appeared as half man, half woman, or half woman, half man.
Yes.
Nobody knows who came first. So if you will keep ignoring and insulting the half of Shiva's body, he is not going to be pleased. That is time to read.
Guruji, I don't know if you're aware of this, but in the modern spiritual community, there's a term called toxic masculinity. And
Toxic masculinity.
It's basically man bashing. And then there's also toxic femininity, which is basically women bashing. I don't think it's healthy to, for them to create workshops out of this.
Anything to make some dollars.
But that's defiling the name of Shiva.
It's not a good idea. It will lead to so many psychological problems ultimately.
Yes.
You just remind those men, those who say they are so much masculine. Ask them, for first 3 months in your mother's womb, you were a girl. And you are still carrying the sign of womanhood on you. Why you have nipples?
Yes.
It's a woman sign. Are you masculine enough?
Yes.
Or just think you are masculine.
Yes.
As I tell you, most of them are idiots. So
Yeah.
leave them.
Guruji, if there's a story of Lao Tzu. No, the word Lao Tzu means old man.
Yes.
So the story was that there was a point he was a young person. He had a son, and then he became a hermit. And because of his wisdom and also perhaps of his, old appearance, he was called Lao Tzu. So there's a great possibility that Vashisth spent a long time in China.
Learning about Adi Shakti's secrets will take quite some time.
Yes.
Not in one day that you go there and just receive instructions and come back.
Yes.
You learning means with absolute understanding as well.
Yeah.
That will take time.
One of the understandings that Lao Tzu learned, Guruji, was that following customs, traditions, and dogmas are not useful.
Okay?
And
You need to look beyond them also.
yes,
And while they are trying to survive in the society, like Clark Kent, you pretend you are following all the customs and traditions. You don't have to make a stand that I don't care for them.
yes,
The whole society will be after you.
yes. Lao Tzu was wise. He wasn't making a stand, but he understood that it's not.
He shared his wisdom, yes.
Yes, you have to look past these dogmas.
Always, always.
And Guruji, this goes back to yesterday's conversation about false identities. A person who strictly follows customs and traditions creates a false identity.
His
of
false identity becomes stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yes. So
That limits their mind.
yes,
But then they were never a seeker or they were never trying to develop their mind. So better to ignore them.
yes. And for the wise yogi, when he's in society, he just follows the rules of dogma. And
That's it.
that's it.
Guruji, in the lineage of, there are many lineages who follow strict rules and customs, different spiritual traditions, like, is it
No, we are talking about the person who accomplished everything and went beyond all these things. Not for beginners.
And still they follow, if they follow a person who have accomplished everything, and still they follow the rules and customs.
They pretend, this is what we were just discussing. They will not make a stand against anything. But inside them, they will continue to understand.
Yes.
That is a big difference.
Guruji, again, that emphasizes on why, the yogi is playful. By pretending you're following the rules, you're just playing along with society.
Playing along.
Yes.
And that is good. We should never confuse or disturb the society.
I think
I have said somewhere, I will not tell you that exact definition I did. It will sound not so good in front of ladies. But I have said the society is the most beautiful woman and everybody is trying to take advantage of her.
yes.
Yogis behave with society respectfully. That's it.
Leave people alone.
Yes. Don't confuse them.
I mean, if anything we learned from our history, that's, like the forcing of religion created violence and genocide.
Always, always. This is our history.
Yes.
Crusades, conversions, this, that,
Yeah.
by the might of the sword.
Yes.
That is useless.
Guruji, for a beginner seeker, what is the importance of identity? Seeker के पास तो identity होती है.
नहीं, उस आइडेंटिटी के बारे में अपन कुछ कह ही नहीं रहे. पहले तो उसको ये क्लियर होना चाहिए कि वो क्या खोज कर रहा है, काय के लिए कर रहा है. ये बिल्कुल स्पष्ट होना चाहिए दिमाग में.
और स्पष्टता के लिए क्या करना?
कुछ नहीं, इंतज़ार करना चाहिए, अध्ययन करना चाहिए, बातचीत करनी चाहिए. I read the Tao Te Ching maybe 45 years before. I bought it in my hometown.
Yes.
And after such a long time, we finally are discussing on that. This is great.
It was beautiful, Guruji, like what you said before, it's a seed. Lao Tzu planted it in the minds of people,
Yes,
and it just grows like that.
that's true.
It's a very potent prana he put into Tao Te Ching.
Exactly. So, on this very positive note, let's take a gym break. Gym is also part of my Tao.
Guruji, can you expound what Lao Tzu told Confucius about the Tao can only be found in the garden of no giving?
Garden of no giving.
Yes.
Giving starts a commercial idea. Giving means you are ready to take also.
Yes.
When your mind is absolutely free of commercial ideas, then you will begin to see the Tao or the way.
Yes.
Only after that.
And he followed that by saying, those who wield the Tao let me compose my mind.
Okay.
Those who found the Tao thrive in non-action.
Okay, because they have already found it. No more action is required from them. They will continue to enjoy the Tao.
And non-action doesn't mean not doing anything.
Be still and know that I am within. You can apply this to Tao also.
Yes.
If you will not discover emptiness inside you, you will never discover outside of you. It is just same thing, inside or outside.
And because those actions come from emptiness, they're non-action.
Idea comes from emptiness.
Yes.
Body just follow those ideas.
Yes.
Body is just an instrument.
Yes. It's still a riddle to me, Guruji, about this non-action. Because I always think of non-action as responding.
No,
instead
no,
of
no, not
reacting.
that. You see, I will try to give you a gross example. You are trying to achieve something
Yes.
and you are doing lot of action to achieve that thing.
Yes.
After you have achieved it, that state will be called a state of non-action. Because you have already achieved what you set out to achieve. So once a person has achieved the Tao,
Yes.
all action will cease.
Mm.
But different understanding will start. That will be way beyond any action. He will become still finally and begin to feel inside, outside, everywhere. So it's a different type of action but non-action.
Yes.
That you are the beginning of understanding.
Yes.
And no action remains, that is the beginning of the understanding.
Again, Guruji, going back to Bholenath, that sounds like Bholenath.
Yes.
Be innocent.
Not be innocent. It will come from within, the innocence. It is not that you will cultivate innocence. You will be innocent.
Yes. Innocence is not to be cultivated, it is to
It
be.
cannot be cultivated. But now science has developed enough to actually tell you what is innocence. Like a child, 4.5-year-old to 5-year-old, they have particular mental frame, the theta state of mind.
Yes.
They are in between conscious and subconscious. That is the state of innocence. After 5 years, they will disappear. And then they also say innocence once lost is never recovered.
That is not true.
For yogis, for normal person it is true. If you will be a good yogi, you will always remain in theta state of mind. Even good people.
And this is when the yogi thrives in non-action.
No, when these waves are active, whatever he will do, he will be doing nothing. That is a particular state of mind.
You just gave a yogic definition of Wu Wei,
Thank you.
non-action.
Yes.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
My question, Guruji, when a yogi swears, right, just a bad word, is that a bad thing?
I still stand by the fact I don't believe a man can survive without using his daily quota of bad words.
Yes.
So I have been doing it for as long as I remember.
So it's good to vent your frustration as long as you don't hurt
See,
someone.
in Japanese language, no bad words.
Yes.
And how much harakiri is taking place there.
Yes.
Because they cannot let go their frustration.
Yeah.
Better to use it.
Yes. I noticed that when I use swear words with the younger generation, they get uptight. It's like,
Yes. You see, too much sweetness will make you sick.
Yes.
So a dose of bad words goes with the thing.
Yes. As long as you don't use the bad words on others. You just curse into thin air. That is fine.
No, I have used it on other people as well.
Hopefully, not one of us.
Many times, yes. So what? See, Russians have a very different sense of humor. When they started to come, I demanded to know about the bad words in Russian. Because I will not be knowing if someone is using bad words sitting here.
Yes.
So they even brought a book of the Russian bad words. I still have it.
Let's see.
Amazing book. I translated some of their bad words and used it on my staff, and my reputation was suddenly better than before.
Again, Guruji, going back to the Tao Te Ching, the best leader is unknown. So you swear at them, getting the impression you're not the leader, and it pushes them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So lead from
And
behind.
another research from my side, or let's say not research, observation.
Yeah.
I have heard so many different languages, but I have not come across yet Chinese bad words, but I am sure they must be there.
Yeah.
Bad words are absolutely the same all over the world in every language. Bad words actually unite us as human beings. It's a big statement.
It is a very big statement, Guruji, because you use the word unite, right? The common bad word has something to do with sex, right? The most famous is the
All in every language, same bad words.
Yes. It's all related to sex, Guruji. Why is that?
Because sex is the beginning of our life. So when you are using bad words, we are discussing life.
Yes. And maybe the person is not happy of his life, so he curses.
Oh, not even. In extreme happiness also they use bad words.
Yeah.
It is just an expression.
Yes. That's true. And Guruji, speaking about sex, right? For a householder yogi, should we do kriya before or after sex?
I think before sex is better. Yes.
Conserve the energy or raise the energy first.
Actually, by practicing Kriya before sex, you will begin to understand what sex is. So you do it knowing exactly what you are doing. People are doing it without even realizing what they are doing. That will make big difference.
It does, because you mentioned about the gunas. The Raja's guna
Yes,
is the
yes.
sperm covered in the menstrual blood.
That's it.
Yes.
And what is sex? It's just a breeding program.
Yes.
What else is sex?
Yeah. And you said about when we do Kriya Yoga, we understand sex better. Kriya Yoga brings us to the earth energy. Connected
See,
to the
one
earth.
time Russians asked me a question on sex continuously for 1 month.
Yes.
Of course, I answered them all.
Yeah.
Then the big question came that you are not married, you are a celibate. How you know so much about sex? Can you guess my answer?
You came from sex.
Look at me. I am the very result of that act.
Yes.
So that is part of my self-realization.
Yes.
No problem.
Yeah. And we go back to yesterday's conversation about going to the source. Source is the union.
Union of sperm and ova.
Yes.
But that is the second opinion. First union is man and woman.
Yes.
Then this union of sperm and ova takes place and the transformation begins.
Yes. So that means the child of the householder is representing the source in a way.
You see, householder is a very confusing term. Whoever is holding a house can be called a householder.
Yes.
And it is not a sort of a certificate that you are now ready to receive any wisdom or any deep things.
Yeah.
That would depend on your approach to the subject.
Yes.
Living as a householder or in a jungle like a monk, it is just a lifestyle. No
Yes.
more than that.
But I meant the child itself, the product of sex, like you and I, that means we represent the source.
Of course, yes. And long chain of the source.
Yes. And that
Our
means
mother and father were not the first mother and father in this creation.
no.
There are countless mother and fathers before them.
Yes. And that means the source is within us.
The memory of the source is within you.
Yes.
Source is not inside you, but the memory of the source is inside you. That is the difference.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Everybody is saying source is within you.
Yeah.
I say no, the memory of the source is inside you. You are carrying all the genetic memory and the DNA memory from the first man and woman,
Yeah.
from where it started. That's the memory.
Yes. And Guruji, some Kriya Yoga teachers say that Kriya Yoga activates your DNA. So when you activate the DNA, you access that memory of the source. Basically.
Well, nowadays it is a fashion to use scientific terms,
Yes.
but even DNA is just a memory. And all your sanskar, which we call sanskar,
Yeah.
I think are there in your DNA memory and genetics also.
Yeah.
Your whole body is a bundle of information. Too much information. Trillions and trillions of gigabyte of information is there.
And yesterday you said that, when the brain goes beyond 2%, it gives electromagnetic charge, and if the body is not ready, it will go kaput. Right?
Yes.
So when these cells, when the memories awaken in the body, it also creates electromagnetic charge.
Everything is working on that. Yes.
That means there's
And
long.
every cell has an individual identity.
Yes.
It's a big complex thing.
It is, Guruji, because this body, it contains all the charges able to turn it into ash, but it's still a body, not ash. And
Yes,
the very idea that it can contain so much power is beyond comprehension.
that is true.
Yeah. Well, the question is that the charge, well, you said before that the charge comes from the void. The void gives energy.
And they say that when a yogi brain is awakened 100%,
Yeah.
his body will become electrical body.
Wow.
That is what the yogis say. They have used the word Vajra.
Yeah.
Vajra can be translated as a diamond also,
Yes.
and the thunderbolt is also called a Vajra.
Yes.
That much charge will be there, and you will turn into pure energy, pure electric magnetic body. That will be imperishable.
Lightning only lives for less than a second, but this body of the yogi that is pure electric lasts forever.
You see, the lightning, we see that it is there for a few seconds.
Yes.
But don't you think it might be the consciousness of the earth herself? Think it on that way.
Yes.
Earth is a conscious being.
So that means lightning is an expression of the earth. Yes.
consciousness. When you will become electromagnetic body, you will be part of the earth's consciousness. And you will know everything which is there to be known. Because what we call education, this is studying different angles of the nature of the earth. Physics, physicality of the planet. Chemistry, chemical compositions of the planet. Sociology, how people living on earth are behaving. Botany, how vegetation is growing on the planet.
Yes.
History, the events which happened on the planet.
Yes.
Every subject which is taught in schools and colleges, earth is the center of it. So when you will become part of the consciousness of the earth, you will know everything. What earth knows, you will also know.
And this knowledge goes beyond the textbooks.
Textbooks are nothing.
Yeah.
Just a record of some experiences of some people. Textbooks are just very elementary.
Yes. And yesterday you mentioned that observing is not the same as understanding.
No.
And so when you read
But
textbook,
understanding will begin by observing.
yes. So reading a textbook is observing, not understanding.
No, it's a record of the past memories. You cannot discover everything on your own.
Yes.
So at least they left a record, so you don't have to go all the way to discover everything on your own. People have discovered, left a record, use it.
Yes.
So you can go further. Thank you. They should be read and studied.
Yes. And Guruji, yesterday we said that every time a person revisits the Tao Te Ching, it always changes meaning and form.
Because every time your own understanding is changing.
Exactly.
That will depend on how much your understanding is able to access to what is written there.
Exactly.
You will be changing, not the book.
And this is why science always changes. Scientific theories keep changing.
Because people keep evolving.
Yes. And the evolution has to go beyond the intellect.
I mean, evolution always remains beyond the intellect. But intellect is used to understand how we are evolving. It's just a tool. Hello. ठीक है चलो पास तो हो गए ठीक है करो दे दिया कुछ बात ओके
And Guruji, going back to electromagnetic charge and sex, when the child is created, it's not just transfer. It's not just sperm and egg combining. It's also transference of electromagnetic charges between the two of them.
That is how our brain works. That is an expression of your consciousness.
So a child is a product of the electromagnetic charges of two people.
This is what science discovered.
Yes. So that means,
What is a scientist? He is a truth seeker,
yes,
trying to discover the truth, understand it. They are also seekers of the truth.
hence a yogi is a scientist.
Yes, with a very open mind, of course.
But going back to, a child is the product of two people's magnetic charges united. That means every one of us has unique electromagnetic charges.
Now, the two people's electromagnetic charge decide that they should unite. And if it is a successful union, another being will come into being.
Yes. Guruji, now this is scientific because some people are attracted to some, not all. The
Mind to mind.
Yes. It's like magnets and the charges.
Yes.
And with the practice of Kriya Yoga, we can see people's electromagnetic charges.
Very easily, and you also see very easily the behavior pattern, and you can guess where it is leading them. It's so easy to see.
That means you can predict.
But it took me many years to keep it quiet.
Yes. So am I making you spilling the beans right now?
What?
Am I
No, no.
making you spilling the beans?
That is good.
See. So this electromagnetic charge also has a different name, aura.
Aura is just a reflection of it.
So the electromagnetic charge goes beyond the aura.
Aura goes beyond the electromagnetic charge.
Oh wow.
Aura shows exactly the quality of the electromagnetic charge.
Wow.
Because even a bad thought has an electromagnetic charge.
Yes.
A very pure, pious thought also has an electromagnetic charge.
Yes.
Aura will tell you exactly what type of charge the person is having inside. So aura is a much, much more deeper.
Then the obvious question is, where does the aura come from?
I mean, from the brain, your own experience and your own electromagnetic charges. If they are bad, then aura will show bad things.
Yeah.
If they are very pure, aura will show you pure things.
Yes. Guruji, but it's not just the brain, it's also the heart that affects the aura.
Oh, everything together.
It is said that the heart rules the mind.
Heart actually supports the brain. Brain is active because heart is supporting it.
I see. Guruji,
Simple.
It is. No, it makes sense because yesterday you said Parvati lives in the heart, right? And Shiva is in the third eye.
Supporting it.
There you go.
Yes, yes. See, another lesson is here. When sperm is highly active, it is running toward the ova, so ova will transform it. But the moment the union takes place, he goes inert, absolute steady. That means if you are moving around all the time, no transformation will take place. Simple observation.
Hence what you said the other day, be still.
And know that I am within. Everything is clear.
Yes.
This is what Gita says. Yes. One and the same thing. Parvati is the Shakti. Parvati is the consciousness in all beings. She is everywhere. And I am not propounding a theory.
No,
I'm just talking what I have experienced or felt.
yes. My mind is still, trying to dissect that relationship between electromagnetic charge and aura, Guruji. So the brain starts to get activated.
Electromagnetic charge is the basis of aura. Like in very high altitude, when there is a high tension wire,
Yes.
a light is seen around it, which we call corona.
Yes.
So aura is like that.
But you said that the aura is bigger than the charge.
Because aura shows what type of electromagnetic charge is taking place inside. Every thought, bad, good, worse, they all have electromagnetic charge.
Yes.
Aura will show you exactly what type of charge is going inside.
And Guruji, you beautifully said, that charge has an aura, has corona.
Yes,
Our sun has corona. We get the sunlight.
yes,
So the quality of the sunlight tells us the quality of the sun itself.
exactly.
Sun represents our Atma.
Yes,
So that aura comes from our Atma.
it's up to you how we use the sunlight also.
Yes.
Aura every living thing has an aura. And because of the Atma, you are alive. And electromagnetic charges are taking place because you are alive. Good or bad, that is another matter.
Because just as much as sun gives life, it also takes life.
Naturally, give and take, that is the rule.
So that is a quality of our Atma as well. Our Atma gives life and takes life when it leaves the body.
Yes, I have written it already in the commentary on Gorakhpur.
Yes.
Atma we call stealer of life. It brings life and takes it away.
And for the Atma to stay longer in the body, you have to make your life interesting.
So yes, for her. Because it's for Atma, because it's a billions of years old power. It will take quite something to entertain it. For this, develop.
Guruji, again, correlating the heart and the mind, the mind being Shiva and the heart being Shakti. And the Atma lives in the heart, so as long as Shiva keeps Parvati entertained, she will let him live.
Of course. Exactly.
Like,
See, your consciousness has started to develop. Finally.
with your grace, Guruji.
Okay, that's good.
Иногда сказал Бхагавад-гита,
Oh my God.
глава 1, шлока 42.
From the first chapter.
Смешение варны непременно извергает пар проб и любителей рода. Какой акт имеет в виду Арджуна? 42.
It's the verse 42 where it said that a mix of varnas can bring hell. What kind of hell is meant here?
Here they mean that when a child is born, whose biological father is different than his legal father. So if he will do last rite ritual to the father, it will not reach the father, it will go to his real biological father. And that will create big problems. कल श्याम बिहारी के बच्चे आए, लड़का अपने 3 बच्चों को लेके आया। हाँ, वो तो मर ही गया। उसी समय ये आया, प्रणाम कर रहा था मुझे, लंबे वालों में। मैंने बच्चों से कहा देखो
Bhagavad-gita. So there is mentioned that if the person is acting according by his nature, by his karma, he doesn't commit sin. And the karma of someone is dangerous.
See, the real sin comes when you are not acting according to your nature. If you will keep on acting according to your nature, it is impossible to commit sin.
And how can I know? Do I act
Go deep down in your heart and discover your true nature.
And does it mean, for example, if the person do something that she or he doesn't want, doesn't like, for example, I don't know.
But if he still is doing it,
Yeah.
his heart is telling it, don't do it, don't do it. But because of the financial problem or the social problem or the family pressure, you do it and then you feel bad after. Heart will remind you whether you are doing good or bad.
And on another hand, if the person's karma is to lie, to kill, maybe to be, to politicians on top of the government, let's say, and he does.
See, politicians are in power because many fools are working for them. That's it. And they are getting paid for it. Nobody is working absolutely for free. Man is a greedy animal and very, say, commercial person. If they receive enough payment, they are ready to kill anyone. Money schemes.
Guruji,
So can we go back to the father, two fathers, the biological and the second one?
Legal. So when he will do last rituals, Pinda, which is written there, it will be a big confusion to which father it should reach.
He'd ask him, what do you mean with his father, the second one? The first one. Not the biological, but the...
See, look into the society. Many bastards are living. So it's a touchy subject, leave it.
Yeah, Guruji, going back to what you said to him about following the heart. The heart supports the mind, the brain. But the brain, even though it's the leader, he has to follow the heart.
Yes.
That's a dance that is not
Because
easy to play with.
as long as the brain is not developed 100%,
Yes.
he should follow the heart. Because he is like an infant, not yet mature or grown up or developed enough. He is not in a situation to make his own decisions. They will always go in the wrong direction.
And the heart where Parvati lives, she's the mother.
She is the mother, and mother always want good thing for the child.
Yes.
So keep listening to your heart.
So when the mind develops to 100%, that's when it starts to become a fully grown being.
An individual.
Yes.
But even after you are grown up and a very strong individual,
Yeah.
you continue to respect your mother.
Yes. And you spoke about the sattva guna, the mother will bring you to the father.
Only after sperm has been transformed into a child, mother introduces to the father.
So when the mind has developed 100%, that's when the mother will bring him to the father.
Probably, yes.
It sounds like it's still only the beginning, Guruji.
Beginning, the introduction is the beginning of a very long association with the father. It is very easy to please the mother, but it is something to please the father.
And that's why many sons, they have difficult relationship with their fathers. Fathers are more difficult to please. I
No,
think.
they actually care for you.
Yes.
And because you are not, say, developing to the level they would like you to develop, there is always some conflict.
Yes.
And if the mother is not, let's say, devoted to the father, then she will definitely create differences between the son and the father.
I see.
So it's a complicated psychological matter.
It does, but it makes sense, Guruji. That's why, first thing first, always please the mother. Make her happy.
Make her happy. But then mother is the wife of the father, and it is not always possible to please the wife. That is another problem.
I think of my own parents, and I get what you mean.
All parents are more or less same. And here, while passing, I will ask you why parents are called parents.
Why?
Because they pay the rent for everything in the building. Such simple thing, the word explains itself.
Yes. That is true.
Лучше еще вопрос у меня задала Лита. Первый вопрос. Что по смещению важности для автора? Какие
The destroyer of the lineage, who are them?
See, if a biological son of the neighbor will take birth in the family of someone, and his father will be the legal father but not the real father, the family lineage will be broken at that point.
Тогда вопрос, человек, который йогу отказывается от общества женщин и таким образом себе прекращает род, то есть это я не понимаю, это хорошо или плохо?
Let's say if the practitioner of yoga stop the lineage, so it won't exist further, the lineage in the family, is it good or bad?
Whatever will be the destiny of the family will happen. That is not anyone's decision.
The Tao Te Ching, well, there's I don't think there's any mention of aura in the Tao Te Ching, but for Taoists, I'm very sure that they know colors of the aura.
I'm sure they were knowing it.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if Bernardo knows, because
What? Oh, about aura, not nothing much is.
he also studies Tai Chi and Qigong, so I thought you might know. about
Maybe
it.
no. He's aware of aura, of course.
Yes. What I've heard about white aura, Guruji, is that it represents unconditional love. Is that true?
If the person is unconditional inside,
Yes.
if he will show love, it will be unconditional love. The person should be unconditional to begin with.
Mm.
It's a deep thing.
It is. So all this talks about unconditional love, Guruji.
It is just a utopian thought.
Yes.
If the person is not unconditioned,
Yeah.
then there can be never unconditional love.
Yes.
That is the basic.
And thank you for opening that up. Now that makes sense.
It should. Why
Yeah.
not?
And you also said that this is one of the things you can do when yoga starts to mature. The person can reprogram his own DNA.
See, what is our life? It is conditioning from the day one.
Yes.
And we are conditioned in so many different ways.
Yes.
So first thing is to recognize your condition.
Yes.
Then undo that.
Yeah.
Then you will be unconditional. Then you will be in a situation to be in unconditional love.
Yes.
Till then, not possible. Do you agree? Thank you. Kusayi.
Then Guruji, to decondition it, at which stage is it possible? Dhyan, Samadhi, or even before?
No, the first thing is to actually understand that you are being conditioned from the day one. Kusayi. What becomes too familiar to us, we stop noticing it.
Yes.
So we never notice our own conditioning from the beginning.
Yes.
The family, the genetic condition is there, DNA conditioning is there.
Yeah.
Your exposure to initial things, then you keep hearing of some elder what he likes, what he doesn't like,
Yeah.
and you start to think these are your own thoughts.
Yes.
You also follow the pattern. So only when you are able to recognize this conditioning, then you may do some effort to uncondition yourself. And then in India, they think they were great masters. What they were doing? Leave home, leave the society, live alone. So when the conditioning matters, whatever thing was conditioning you, you are leaving them aside, leaving your family name, identity, everything, and you are starting anew. They say live at least for 12 years like that. And this is the time they say that will uncondition you. Then you are free to make a free decision, not with the impressions of your condition.
That resonates with me, Guruji, because I left my family home 12 years ago.
See, so your condition is better now.
It is. And
Unconditional condition is the best condition.
it is. I've actually become softer and warmer to my parents.
You should be, why not? Yes. Thanks to them, you are here.
Yes. That's why 2 nights ago, for the first time in my life, I called my father, and before I finished talking to him, before I hung up, I said, I love you, for the first time.
I think this is the best thing you have done to him. Very good.
I feel so too. And going back to white aura, what do you think it means, Guruji?
I don't know. I was practicing. It is there in the Awakener. You may have read it also. And I will come down from there was a small room. I will practice there. Come down and sit in my room, and my mother will bring me some rotis and some milk. She entered and I had forgotten to switch on the light. And she shouted, "Your hairs are on fire." The golden thing was, it looked like flames to her. Khusro. I switched on the light and I saw my aura for the first time then, way back in 1985
I see.
or 84. It grew stronger and stronger. When I was dictating Gita's commentary and others, it was shining golden.
Yes.
Anyone could see it who were sitting around me.
Yes.
Then we came here and the shivling appeared and the worshipping of Shiva started. And I noticed from absolute golden, bright golden, it started to turn into bright white. Now it is absolutely bright white, no touch of golden remains. And the shivling like formation is there beyond my head. So this daily Shiva worship is actually transforming something inside.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
It has transformed me, Guruji. That's why I keep coming to the puja.
It is. I am doing it for 25 years every day,
Yes.
and I hope he will allow me to continue as long as I can. But this is visible. I mean, many disciples were seeing my aura then. Now also they see it's absolutely white now.
Yes.
And many Russians and others did some research on that. They say there can be only one or two people at the same time on the planet with white aura. Usually only one.
That
That
is-
is another interesting thing.
Did they ever explain why that is?
No. You do some research. Let's see.
I'll look into it.
Yes, look into it.
I just need to know the right direction.
Yeah, that's it.
And to follow that direction, I need to listen to my
And
heart.
I think, of course, my observations are very different now after 25 years of Shiva worship.
Yes.
We are discussing many different subjects which we were not even thinking about before.
Yeah.
So many things changed.
शिवलिंग कैसे अपने काफी
अब एक दिन में पूरी कथा है। पहले तो 96 में शिव जी के दर्शन हुए अंदर कमरे में। फिर मुझे बताया किसी ने कि शिव जी के दर्शन का एक ही सर्टिफिकेट है कि स्वयं शिव जी मिलता है।
Guruji, just now you told me that perhaps I can do research into why only one or two people can have white aura on
This
Earth.
is what Google told us.
Yes. And I said I'll look into it, and I will need direction to look into something. For this direction to happen, the desire has to be there.
Or let's say intention has to be there. Because the word desire usually gives a different impression.
Yeah. Intention is also born out of desire, no?
Of course, but intention is a strong desire.
I see. It means you want to accomplish it. And this desire can only come from the heart. Intention as well can come from the heart.
Of course. But most of the intentions nowadays are coming from the calculating mind.
That's what I was about to get into.
Yes.
Yes. So people have been told to have good intentions, but a lot of times their intentions, like what you say, come from the calculating mind. The problem is that for many people, they don't know how to listen to their heart yet.
Oh, they have forgotten it. It is only when the heart is having some problem then they remember their heart.
Yes. This is why deconditioning is so important.
Very. Usually they are talking about the astral world here.
Yeah, Guruji. And how they look like in astral world. Like
After death.
after death. And also in one verse it said that even if you worship some gods,
All gods are living in the world beyond death. And it is like having an address when you are traveling to unknown place, but you have an address and his mobile number and address, then you will feel better. So worshipping a certain god, you have an address on the other side, and you can call him for help.
Guruji, and can God be appear by imagination? For example, there is a sect or community of the people, they decided they imagine one God, and that God appear in the
No, they will begin to believe in their imagination that it has become real. But it will never be real.
Because I guess there is so many communities like this.
They have my condolences. No problem.
If a disciple is not ready, or the student is not ready, and the guru, should the guru pressurize the disciple to do what?
No, not in our lineage. We will wait till the disciple is ready to receive.
In our lineage, in your lineage, yes, but in the other lineages that you might know, like is it other
No, I have no concern about those lineages. We live in a small world. I never go out of this Ganeshan area. So what is happening outside is no concern of mine.
And Guruji, what is the importance of Himalayas? Because they talk a lot about
Himalayas? Himalaya? Oh, it's very cold there. Govardhan is better.
Guruji, going back to listening to the heart requires deconditioning. Right? When we practice yoga, we chant Om, even mentally.
Okay.
And you have said before, that's the sound of creation.
Yes, this is what Hindu books tell us.
So every time we chant Om, we are reminded of the source,
Yes.
and that helps to decondition the yogi.
It reminds us of the source, but it will take quite a long time to understand what is the source.
Yes.
But it will keep you on the way.
On the way to the source, the deconditioning happens naturally.
No, I think some sort of deconditioning has already taken place. Otherwise, this desire or intention will never appear. But I like to think my dogs are in good condition.
Yes, they are, especially this one.
He is intelligent, he knows what he wants. And he is too fond of showing off.
This one has the best intention, the strongest intention.
Yes. And if you touch me in front of him,
Yeah.
he will tear you to pieces also. He is very good fighter. To do some research.
Yes.
Communism entered Russia. Lenin brought it.
Yes.
Chairman Mao Zedong brought it to China. Okay?
Yes.
Why these two leaders are still lying in state mummified? Find out what is this. Two people, one Russian, one Chinese, they changed the whole nation and the communists first time appeared in power. They are still there, lying in state mummified. It cannot be a coincidence. So try to find out. You try to find out and I will be back.
Oh, and Guruji, you talk, told us about Lenin's body.
And Chairman Mao's body as well.
So
These two were the men who brought communism to Russia and China.
yes,
And that was Mao who said the power flows through the barrel of a gun. And maybe he was right there, absolutely. But it cannot be a coincidence that both dead bodies are lying in state.
actually,
And now I heard today that Putin is going to visit China.
yes.
So-
That I don't know. But the communist countries, they mummify their leaders. I remember when I was a child, I went to China. I saw Chairman Mao's body, and Boris told me that he saw Ho Chi Minh's body in Vietnam. Both of us agreed that
Ho Chi
actually,
Minh was not the bringer of the communism.
no. It's just in the communist
See,
culture.
simple mummification is another thing.
Yeah.
But two pioneers in who brought communism, they are lying in state.
Yes.
And there is no, say, tradition in Russia to mummify the bodies of the leaders. Lenin is there,
Yes.
Chairman Mao is there.
I would say though, Guruji, that when I saw Chairman Mao's body, it looked like plastic. So,
Of course, it will look like plastic after so much chemicals have been pumped up and it is treated with chemicals.
yeah.
It will look like it.
Yes. Also, the communists, even though they don't believe in, religion, but looking at their architecture,
But then,
Yeah.
communism itself has become a religion.
yes. Yeah.
So,
And the people of power, they use occult technology and science.
all of them.
Yes. So I'm thinking maybe they conserve the body as one
Not
of the-
unthing, it is deliberately done.
Yes.
So someone is guiding them from behind the scene.
So the body,
Do you think a bald man will come from France back to Russia, will stand on a cardboard box and give some speeches and the communism will come? There has to be a big, big, big sponsor there.
yes,
Same thing with Chairman Mao also.
yes.
Guruji, and do you think that they were successful in it?
More or less, in a way, they both removed monarchy from Russia and China.
I'm thinking.
And after that, the whole world followed. I mean, first time in Russia, then China,
Yes.
then after Second World War, monarchy disappeared. So it looks like something deliberately done.
Guruji, and they experience suffering in
No suffering, they are still there enjoying.
The interesting thing that there is a restriction to make a photo in the mausoleum of Ho Chi Minh when we were there, like in spiritual places.
पता नहीं तो साफ कर रहे थे उनसे पूछो कल
साइकिल बेचारी पड़ी हुई है अब उसे भी चलाएंगे दौड़ाएंगे
कल
Yeah, like a temple, there is a restriction to make a photo of the Ho Chi Minh, and in the start of
मुझे
the
इन
line,
चाबी में से कोई एक हो
देख लो मुझे पता नहीं
सारी ले जाते हैं
उससे पूछो मुकेश से कल सफाई हो रही थी इससे पूछो
just a single one.
दैट रूम की I'm taking all of them.
You're taking all of them.
We are all searching for a
Can
key
you come?
so we will open our mind and have some wisdom
Anna, can you help?
क्या कर रही हो ये
गुरु जी सारी लेकर जा रहे हैं
अरे उनसे पूछो ना
हाँ उनसे पूछ के
उन्हीं से पूछो
in the start of the line, you have to give your camera and your phone to the policeman, and in the line, everybody without cameras and so on. And I took with me a phone and decided to do a photo of the Ho Chi Minh of this looked like a doll actually. And the policeman approached to me in 1 second, walked me to the police officer, mausoleum police officer. And while we were walking there, I deleted the photo of the Ho Chi Minh, into recently deleted, not completely deleted actually. Yeah, and the policeman checked my phone, so he didn't find anything. asked me where you're from. I said from Russia, Vietnam and Russia, like friends. And they, okay, thank you so much, so you can go there. But it's looked like yesterday we were in Vrindavan, and there is a restriction also to make a photo in the temple. And it's like spiritual places, but it's usually.
So I'm thinking, Guruji, that mummies are buried in pyramids, so their bodies are buried in a pyramid as well. The building is a pyramid.
Oh, really?
Well, that's what my mind is thinking.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Because you said that the bodies are deliberately preserved as part of occult technology.
They will always keep reminding them of the cult.
Yes.
And it affects the mind and imagination.
Yes.
But Yakimanka is a good place. Yakimanka is a good place.
Yakimanka.
Not for the Japanese, of course.
Yes.
Question from my friend. She makes 15 years old love spell for one man. And then after that, for 2 months, this man will die. And now she seems that this man is near her. It's possible.
It is very much possible, and she was with him for quite some time, so being near him formed a habit. It will be there for some time, then it will disappear.
देख रहे हैं मेरे
अरे उनसे पूछो ना कहाँ ईसरी बीसरी से
नहीं मुझे सुमित भैया को पता है
बस तो इनको दो।
Guruji, we spoke about the heart before the break, and as you know, Lao Tzu is a man of his heart. And there was a story where Confucius went to Lao Tzu, and
Yes.
part of the conversation, Lao Tzu asked Confucius, "Have you found the Tao?" And Confucius said, "I sought the Tao through rules and regulations. 5 years went by, still I could not find it." Lao Tzu asked him again, "Where else did you seek it?" Confucius said, "I sought it in the yin and the yang. 12 years went by, and still I could not find it." Then Lao Tzu said, "Of course not. The Tao cannot be sought in this manner. The wise ones of the olden times wandered freely in the wilds. They found nourishment in the fields of simplicity. They took their stand in the garden of no giving.
Very good.
They abode in non-action and found easy nourishment.
Okay.
Their wanderings brought them to the true Tao. This was their wealth. The Tao can only be understood by he who understands his heart."
And Indians say, there is empty space in your heart also, which is called Hridayakash. And that empty space inside the heart is the very essence of life and nourishment.
And you have also said before that that empty space, that darkness, is where God lives.
Where God lives. Or Tao lives, or the essence of life lives, or the core of all consciousness lives.
Yes. So to understand the way, first understand the heart.
First, you have to discover so many different empty spaces inside you. There is an empty space inside the brain. The pituitary gland is covered with a space. That space is carrying great wisdom there. Then there is a space behind your nose where Khechri Mudra takes place. That space again.
Yes.
After you are sort of knowing these two spaces in your head,
Yes.
then you may find the way to go inside your heart. Before that, directly you cannot enter your heart. Step by step.
And that's why Kriya is so important to get.
Only Kriya Yoga is showing you how to enter your heart via your brain and empty space in your brain. Even though we may not be talking about the Tao, or it's a different term in different languages,
Yes.
but indicating toward the same thing.
Yes.
And we go even further and say Tao has its own consciousness,
Yes.
which is missing in Tao Te Ching.
Well, you expounded on that when Lao Tzu said the Tao follows the laws of nature. It means the Tao follows its own nature.
Yes,
Yes.
its own nature.
Yes.
And that also brings us to conclusion that Tao has consciousness.
Yes.
Without consciousness, you can follow nothing.
Yes.
So, consciousness is the name of the game.
Yes.
Emptiness is the vast ocean of consciousness.
Yes. And time, as you have mentioned so many times, that it has.
And for the lack of knowing the word empty space, they begin to use the word mind. What is mind? Ocean of consciousness. Brain is the seat of the mind. Amazing people.
Amazing indeed, Guruji. You have mentioned many times that time has its own consciousness.
Time has its own consciousness,
And because of that, time has its own nature. It follows
its own nature.
And because it follows its own nature, time is playful.
Always.
So the yogi has to be playful, not serious.
He will become playful. Initially, everybody is too serious.
Yes.
When the grace of the time begins, then you begin to enjoy,
Yes.
not before.
And this is why Sri Krishna is the Yogeshwar. He's always enjoying, having fun.
Yeah. Fantastic sense of humor. Yes. He is the only avatar with a sense of humor who actually enjoyed life.
And that's why time passed through him and gave him the Gita to Arjuna.
Yes. And he started to talk laughing in second chapter.
So that means, Guruji, when we merge with the consciousness of time, we couldn't help but to laugh because it's so funny.
Because you are so happy. Laughter is just an expression of happiness and good mood.
So that means time has a good mood as well.
I hope, mostly yes.
Yes.
That's why Shiva, the very embodiment of time, one of his name is Nartak, dancer.
Yes. And also Bholenath.
The innocent one.
Yes.
I think time may be the only innocent thing.
And it says that Parvati was drawn to Shiva because he was innocent and pure.
But then Parvati was the second birth of Adi Shakti. First was tragic end, and that may be the greatest love story I have ever come across.
Yes.
You should read that.
Yeah.
Then she took another birth and they are together since.
Let's see.
She had a
No, it's real. ठीक है, खुश रहिए,
Thank you, sir.
खुश रहिए.